the wisdom to send some of their children out of Poland. Okay, so now, and I know some of you guys really have something to tell me, because some of you said, Gal said, and someone else said that your grandparents came to America after the war. So I'd like you guys to think about, who do you know who survived the Shoah? It can be someone you know because you read a book. It can be someone you know because they're in your family and they've told you their story. It can be someone you know because they're in your community and you've heard them tell their story in synagogue or in school. It can be someone you know because you saw a movie about their life. So I'm going to ask everyone to please click into this Padlet and share with me who you know who survived the Shoah. And don't just tell me, Jordan, that's amazing, your grandmother. Can you tell us a little, can you just tell us a little something? She came from Hungary, or tell us a little something about your grandmother or your friend's grandpa. If it's a friend's grandpa, tell us a little something about the person.
Can you give us an example, like something we should say about them?
You can say anything you want to share about them. You can say, my grandmother, she was in the Warsaw Ghetto and she came to America after the war. My grandmother is an Auschwitz survivor. My grandmother was in Hungary, in Budapest, and she came to America after the war. My grandmother was in Poland in hiding. I don't know her story. So anything that you'd like to share with us. Wow, amazing.
My dad, my grandpa.
Type it in.
I don't have.
He's going to give you a chance to do it also.
Jackson, you've never read a book or heard somebody speak about their experiences? And okay, so you're going to get a lot of new information. Hid during the war after escaping Poland. Your grandmothers were really, really lucky.
What if you know 2 people?
You can post about 2 people.
I don't know how many of the kids know this, but they have a number of teachers whose parents are Holocaust survivors.
You?
Like myself, they have another teacher who they have on whatever, Tuesday or Wednesday, Leah Whitney. Another one.
You have Susan Work. You have Susan Work in your school, who her father, Joseph Work, is also a Holocaust survivor.
Actually, their teacher they have on Wednesday, she was actually born in Germany after the war.
Wow, in a DP camp? Wow, that's incredible. Maybe you can get her to share her story one day, Jerry.
She does every year around Yom HaShoah.
Oh, okay. Amazing. Amazing. Okay. You know what? I have to say, which I'm very, you guys are very young to still have grandparents who were Holocaust survivors. And normally when I teach this class to 6th and 7th grade, there aren't so many people who personally were so touched by the Holocaust. Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. Okay. Now we're going to take a step back. We're starting at the very, very beginning. And I want us to get a little taste and flavor of what life was like in Europe before the Holocaust. So I'm going to ask you guys to take a look at this movie that I'm putting up on the screen. And I want you to pay attention to what you see, to what people are doing, to how people look, and see if there's anything that you can learn or tell about what life was like for Jews before the Shoah in Europe.
I think you might be able to see it on your iPad.
Okay, guys, based on looking at that little video, at those clips, what kind of things can you tell about what life was like for the Jews before the Holocaust in Europe?
You might need to repeat the question.
Okay, what kind of things, based on that movie, those were actual video clips or film clips of Jews living in different places, living in Hungary, living in Poland, living in the Netherlands, in Holland, before the Shoah. What kind of things can you tell about Jewish life in Europe before the Shoah based on that little clip that you saw? Think about how people looked, what they were doing, who they were with. Go ahead.
It looked like they were having a really good time.
Okay. What made you say that? Where? One example of someone having a really good time.
They looked like together, and they weren't like fighting.
Okay. Oh, you said so many things. Looked like they were together. They were communities. They were having fun. Kids were playing. Lots of different examples of kids playing. People at the beach. Okay. What else can we tell?
Okay, good. Sit down so she can see you.
They're like running, and they're happy, and they're having a lot of stuff with their family, not killing people.
Okay. They were happy. They were with families, just like you guys. People were part of normal, loving families. People had friends. People were having fun. What other kinds of things did we see in that video? Think about how people looked.
I saw they were all dancing together.
They were what?
Dancing together.
Okay, so we saw definite clips in there of religious Jews, of people who the way they were dressed, they clearly looked religious. Not everybody. A lot of people were in regular clothes, but they looked religious. Sometimes they were davening, or they were singing and dancing in like a youth group singing Hatikva. What else?
Good.
They looked like they were like warm. They looked like they had a lot of fur coats on. Like they looked like they had like a money to afford that kind of like clothes.
Okay, that was a very important thing also. Many of the people in the video, we know many Jews in Europe were very poor, but many of the people in the video looked quite comfortable by the way they were dressed. Either they looked like they were in very warm clothes, they had fur, they were on vacation or on holiday, or they were in school and well dressed. Okay, anything else?
Anybody else want to share? Okay, that's it.
Okay, did they all look the same?
Did they all look the same?
No. Kind of.
Kind of. Okay, somebody who thinks they did not look the same. What looked different? In what ways did people look different?
They look different by
Good.
They kind of look different. They look different by their personality.
Okay, maybe their personalities. We didn't get to see that much of them. Maybe also they look different by, some of you commented on some were in fur, some were more warmly dressed. They look different by the way they were dressed. So just like you guys know, not all Jews in America, not all Jews in Israel look the same or believe the same things or practice their Judaism in the same way. Also, in pre-Holocaust or pre-Shoah Europe, the Jewish communities across Europe and even within the same places looked very different. They had different ideas and different beliefs. And now we're going to take a little bit of a look at what some of those ideas and what some of those beliefs were of Jewish communities in Europe before the war. So I'm going to ask you guys, you're going to click here on slide number 14, where it says pre-war Jewish life. And here's where I'm going to need your help, because I divided people up and I might have left a couple of people out. I'm sure I spelled some names wrong as well, but I've divided people up. And what you guys are going to do is you're going to look at 5 different communities of Jews. You're going to look at Hasidim. You're going to look at secular Jews. You're going to look at Reform Jews. You're going to look at Zionists, and you're going to look at Mitnagdim. So if you guys, once you come into this slideshow, you will see, first of all, before we even look and see who's doing what, let's look at the directions. So if everyone looks up at the screen or on your own screen, you guys are going to have a slide. I'm going to show you the example of the Hasidut slide. You have something to read about this group, and then you're going to put your slideshow into present mode. You have a video to watch as well. So you're going to watch this little video clip. This is when I said if you have earphones, it will be helpful because everybody's going to be watching something different. Okay?
Okay, so a lot of the kids, so there's a bunch of kids who are here today that weren't here last time.
And kids,
last time who weren't here today.
Okay, Jerry, what I'm going to have you do is basically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can tap the head.
Okay, so there's 4 groups, you said?
Five. But before you make the groups,
yes.
I just want to make sure everyone understands what to do.
Okay.
Each group is going to be assigned to a side. Everyone knows what a meme is? Over here on my right side is the sample meme. Okay, each group is going to be assigned to a slide. On your group, you're going to read a blurb about them, and you're going to watch a short video about them. Then you're going to look up an image in Google Images about your type of group. If it's Hasidim, you would look up a Google image of Hasidim, and you're going to go to the memes.com website and create a meme. But at the bottom of the slideshow, each of you, I'm just going to, one group is doing Hasidut, one group is doing the secularists, one group is doing Zionists, one group is doing the Reform Judaism, and one group is doing Mitnagdim. At the end of the slideshow, I gave you a sample, and you guys are going to click into here where it says our memes. It's memes.com, but after you've made your meme, you're going to put your link to the meme on the spreadsheet, and the sample, the link to the sample is also on the spreadsheet, so you can see it there as well. Okay, so Jerry is going to divide you guys up into groups of 5. If you have your earbuds when you're watching your videos, that's a great thing. If not, you can spread out in the room so that you kind of give each other space and aren't on top of each other, listening to each other's videos. Okay?
Okay. Sorry. So guys, you 1, 2, 3, you have Hasidut. Okay? Here you go, Joe, with them. You 4, right, are going to be doing secularism. Okay?
I didn't get it.
So you right there. You're doing secularism. You 4. Hush. You guys are doing, what was the third group?
Third group is secularist. Third group is Zionist.
I have Hasidut, secularists, Mitnagdim, and Zionists. What's the 5th one?
Reform.
You guys are going to do reform. Okay. You guys are going to be doing,
because it was the reform movement that was in Europe at that time.
Okay. And you guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are doing Zionists. Okay. Everybody know which group they have? Everybody know which group they have? Zion. You don't have to be with them. You can do something if you want to. Okay. So get started on your group.
Wait, where's my earbuds?
You're going to go from here. You're going to click on it. Okay, come on, guys, let's get started. You guys know what My God, it doesn't work. What are you doing there? Mom. Yeah, but you don't see the same screen. You're doing supposed to do it? You go to the video?
I love me some meat. No, we need to make a meat. No, that's actually so funny.
Guys, I don't think anybody should be up to making memes yet. First, you should be watching the video about your group, learning something about them, reading something about them, and then going on to make the meme.
I'm trying, but you're touching my phone. I'm not even I can't go a day without I'm trying to
Guys, after you make your memes, I am going to ask each group to
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
after they make their memes, I'm going to ask each group when they present their meme to explain a little something to everybody about their group. Okay? They should,
Guys. It seems like there's more fooling around now than what we're supposed to be doing. Let's stop. I can't even hear Lori when she's talking to me. We have to, okay, so I'm sorry, Lori, can you explain that again?
yes. So after they make their memes, we're going to present all the memes, and then everybody, one person from each group is going to explain who their group was. Who were these people? What was their idea about Judaism?
Okay, so after you each are going to make, we're each going to make a name, right? And then you're going to present about your group, telling what the group that you were assigned to. One person from each group will sign about what your group is about. You're going to explain what the Zionists are, what the Reform was, what the Mitnagdim were. No.
Yeah, that's good right here.
Wait, are we sure? Because in the instructions, that's fine. Picture of a famous person from your group.
The person has to be a famous person?
It could be a famous person. It could just be somebody who's representative, who looks like someone from your group.
What about
There you go.
this? This look good.
Person.
Huh?
It could be if you wanted to be, but that's up to you.
Yeah. Oh my God, we're arguing. No, what are those? That'd be hilarious. Oh yeah, you would probably.
Okay, you have your name and your
Now, being not wrong is not loading. Maybe an image. Oh, this is the one I gave. Upload. Yeah. What are those? How do we add our link on the slide?
You don't have to add your meme to the slide. You're going to put the link.
How do you add the link on the slide?
Not going to add it on the slide. You're going. Jerry?
Jerry.
Hello? They're going to put the link for their meme on,
What?
they're not going to put the link for the meme on their slide. They're going to put it on the spreadsheet. Okay?
Okay, don't put the link from your name on the slide. Put it on the spreadsheet.
Spreadsheet. No,
It's the last slide in the slideshow. When you
The
click
last slide is the spreadsheet.
when you click on our memes, you'll go right to the spreadsheet.
What are?
There you go. You're right there.
No, that's what it is.
Huh?
I'm
Chat, to get to that. Guys, you gotta lower the volume. It says that they have to log into Google to get into that spreadsheet.
1 second.
What are those? Oh my God, you touched my pancake.
Gary, they can try it now. It should be fun.
Try it again. Thank you. That spreadsheet is the last slide.
What's that website called? Where do we go to make here?
Emmy, it should be a link there.
On the slideshow.
Or should it be like
In terms of what? The name?
no for the meme?
Huh?
For the meme.
It's gonna be. Take it serious.
It's not letting me edit on the spreadsheet.
If you look at the sample, guys, you'll see it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek. So you can be serious or you can be more humorous as long as you're prepared to explain your humor, meaning it should make sense. Look at the.
Okay, now that they got into the slide, it's not letting them edit it. They're not able to type into. They suddenly have to get the app.
Into what? Very what? Into the slide? Into what you have right now on the screen. Okay.
It's not letting him type into it.
It's enabled editing. Tell them to refresh or to go back in. Jerry?
Now try.
Jerry?
They can't. Yeah, tell her your problems. I got to go help them.
Okay, so basically, like when I go on, it says that you need to have the Sheets app in order to edit it.
You might not have Sheets on your iPad. Okay, you might not have Google Sheets on your iPad. That's a different story. Okay, so what you can do is you can type into. You see the computer that you're standing in front of?
Yeah.
If you go into the chat, see where the chat is, or ask Jerry to show you where the chat is.
Chat, I see it.
Okay, so type in the chat, www.memes.com / and then IMG / and the number, and I'll put it up for you, okay?
Okay.
If you send it to me in the chat, I'll get it.
Okay, I'm typing it in.
Okay. And what's your name?
Jordan.
Jordan, if you can then show anyone else who needs to do that, who doesn't have Google Sheets on there, they have a pad and not a computer, okay?
Okay.
I have one question.
And then you just have to hit enter.
Okay. So this works on my end. Okay, send.
Great, fantastic. I got it, and I'm going to.
11:30.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Great. Awesome job. Really nice job. Super. Oh, wait, you guys are not Husky Dude. Are you Hasidim or Mitnagdim?
What?
Jordan, were you Hasidim or Mitnagdim?
The Hasidim.
Okay, great. Okay. So then, Jordan, if you can be in charge of showing anyone else who's done and ready with their memes to do that.
Okay, I'll tell them to type it in on here.
Okay, fantastic.
I have 9 questions for you. What are those?
Okay, guys, we should be taking another 4 minutes to finish this up.
1 question. What are those?
Wait, how'd you guys get to that view?
You make your ments.
That's 4 hours. I have 1.
Yeah, I did that.
Roll it to the screen.
You tell them what to do.
Did you answer?
Gary,
Yes.
Jordan knows what to do. I walked him through sending me his meme. He's going to help anybody else who doesn't have Google Sheets on there. If you haven't had, you probably don't have Google.
We have other kids who are having problems just getting into the memes.
Makes sense. If you guys have, it either works or doesn't. And if you guys have Wi-Fi, it's something to share. Okay. This is a one and only time we make a meme.
A lot of them having problems just making the memes.
If they're having a problem making the memes, let them use Jordan's iPad, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Has no problem, and he can show them what to do on his iPad.
Okay. Guys, listen up. Guys, hello. Listen. First of all, I want to compliment you. I realize, well, at least you can stop talking while I'm complimenting you, right? I realize the technology is not working well today, and this is making this so much harder and probably even frustrating for many of you, and I apologize, okay? I apologize. That being said, if you're having a problem making the memes, go over to Jordan, right? And his iPad is working for it, and if you need help with that, he will help you do that.
Okay, Gary,
Yes.
has anybody else finished their meme, or only the Husky Dude?
Anybody else finish their memes? No. They're all having tremendous difficulty, and I'm trying to run between all of them to help them.
Okay, you know what? If nobody's like close to finishing, then I think what we'll do is we'll go around and we'll let one person from each group kind of explain who their people were.
Okay.
And we'll put up Gordon's name.
Okay.
Okay, I just don't want to take the time.
Okay. Everybody stop what you're doing.
Stop it.
Back to your seats wherever you were sitting originally.
No.
And from each group, just come up and explain. We'll start with no, everybody stop.
Okay, so we're going to start with Husky Dude. We're going to start with Husky Dude.
The iPads right now. Okay, go ahead, Jordan.
Second, I'm going to put up for everybody to see your meme. Okay, Okay, so everybody sees up on the screen Jordan's meme.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Jordan, you want to explain your meme, why you chose this, and who the Hasidim were?
Okay, so the Hasidim, like they like what they were known for. They were like what? How do I explain that? Basically, they like wanted everyone to connect to God, and their like main focus was singing and dancing and praying. So so that's why that's the inspiration for my meme.
Great. I think you did a great job. But you know what? Everybody should explain it to the class. You don't have to explain it to me, okay? Explain it to everybody else. And I think you guys did a fantastic job because that's what they were about. They worship God by singing and dancing and praying. And that's a beautiful meme to explain that. Okay. Who?
Secularism. Who has secularism? You guys?
Kol hakavod.
Explain. I know you. What was yours? You had secular. Who's coming from this group? Come on, Gabby, explain secularism. How about you? Come on, one of you come and explain it. Come on, Molly, you can do it. Let's go, guys. You know what, guys? There's so much talking going on. We're not listening to each other.
So I'm going to explain that they are going to explain. That's what I explained.
We'll explain.
Okay, please.
I explained.
So.
Okay, you know what? We're going to move on to the reform.
We were having trouble.
Okay, so guys,
What it was.
just have it said that secular Jews as compared to Hasidim,
Guys,
compared
please.
to Reform Jews, secular Jews, they were not so interested in being Jewish, and they really wanted to assimilate or become part of the surrounding society. So like a German secular Jew just wanted to be considered a good German and not necessarily Jewish. Okay, somebody from the Zionists.
Okay, the Zionist group. Who was the Zionist? You guys were. So someone, we want to come up?
No.
Come on, one of you guys come.
No.
Guys, please.
Someone. How about all three?
Right, I don't mind if they speak from their seats. They can-
Okay, we have nobody who wants. What about one of you two guys? No. No one wants to explain for the Zionists.
Okay, so how do the Zionists differ from secular Jews or from Hasidim? Zionists were very focused on trying to recreate a Jewish state in the Jewish homeland in Palestine. So that was their focus and their passion about Judaism. What about Reform Jews, or those who belong to the Reform movement? They weren't secular. They didn't want to just assimilate and be like all the other Germans. They were Jewish and wanted to celebrate their Judaism.
Here we have representing the Reform.
Great. Kol hakavod, guys.
So the Reform Jews, they still wanted to like practice Judaism, but they wanted to be like more for like their like where they live, like so like in their like first language, which like always wasn't Hebrew. So they wanted to like be more so everyone could like understand it.
Okay. Awesome. Beautiful interpretation. An important thing was language. They wanted to understand Judaism, not just hear things in Hebrew, which they didn't necessarily relate to. And they wanted to make it more modern, more relatable to where they lived and their society. Okay, great. You guys weren't able to get into the memes.
No.
Oh, okay. And what about our Misnagdim? How were they different? They were different than Hasidim. They were certainly very different than Reform Jews or secular Jews.
Mine says not. So mine says I don't know. So just turn it. It says not accepted. What do you mean? If you looked in a dictionary, you know what it means. It means you keep going because you do things differently.
Okay. Okay, and how would you explain that the Misnagdim did things differently?
They
Did they do things differently, or what were they claiming?
They were claiming the Torah cannot change anything or everything.
Okay, right. They were claiming no changes. They were stuck. They wanted everything to stay exactly the way they thought things had always been.
Yeah.
So we see that just like today, they always say if you have 3 Jews or 2 Jews in a room or 3 Jews in a synagogue, that you need to build a second synagogue. Just like today, when many, many Jews have different ideas, we know we have Orthodox Jews and we have Haredim and we have conservative Jews and we have Reform Jews and we have secular Jews. We have Zionists, people who move to Israel or support Israel. We have people for whom Israel isn't necessarily the center of the world. So just like today, we have all different kinds of Jews. And Jewish life is it's a big tapestry or painting of many colors. We shouldn't look back at Jewish life in Europe before the war and think it was all black and white and everybody dressed a certain way. We saw in those films and those video clips that people looked different, that people were bathing suits and went to the beach, that people dressed religiously, that people went outside and jumped rope, that school children dressed in school clothes and played, that people played and sang and danced, and that Jewish life before the war was very, very rich and very, very different, of many colors, just like it is today in both America and in Israel, actually across the world for that matter. So when we talk about losing 6 million Jews, or Jewish communities in Germany and Jewish communities in Poland or Jewish communities in Holland, we're talking about not just numbers, we're talking about whole cultures and very different ideas and different ways that people worshiped, that people believed, that people celebrated, and that people lived their lives. Okay, thank you guys. I apologize again that this was our one and only time that we're making memes. I apologize that the technology did not work so well for you, and I am actually going to ask that before our next class, all the iPads are checked out to make sure that they're easy to navigate and that they're working. Okay.
Okay.
So what did we lose? How many Jews do you guys think were in Europe before the Holocaust? 13.5 million Jews, 9.4 million Jews, or 15.3 million Jews? Guys, by show of hands, who thinks 13.5 million Jews lived in Europe before the war? Jerry, can you be counting?
Yes, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, 6 of you. What about 9.4 million?
2.
Okay, and what about 15.3 million Jews?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think some people didn't vote at all, but about 7.
Okay, 7. Okay, so guys, actually, the 2 of you who said 9.4 million Jews, you are correct. In Europe, but it was a little bit of a trick question. In Europe, there were approximately 9.4 million Jews before the Shoah. However, the worldwide Jewish population before the Shoah was 15.3 million Jews. And this screen just gives you kind of an idea of where these Jews were located. And if you look even just on the little key at the bottom, you can see that the vast majority, almost 7 million of them, were in Eastern Europe. And we know that over 3 million of them were actually in Poland. So we're going to see, even though we're going to start talking about Germany, that much of the action takes place in Eastern Europe during the Shoah. Now, just to think about this, we know that before the Shoah, there were 15.3 million Jews in the world, 9.4 million in Europe. How many Jews do you guys think there are today? Who thinks 10.2 million Jews in the world today?
1, 2, 3.
Who
I got
thinks
3.
16.5 million Jews?
4. Wait, actually, I think 4.
Okay, and what about 14.4 million?
The majority are going with 14.4 million.
Okay, the majority is correct. There actually are, according to the most recent 2016 survey, 14.4 million plus. Jews living in the world today. So what does that tell you? If we know that 6 million Jews died, there were 15.3 million Jews in the world before the Shoah. There are 14.4 million Jews in the world today. What kind of information do those numbers give us, or what do we get from those numbers?
Jordan.
That in the beginning there were more Jews than there are now, but during the wars, like half of those Jews, or almost half of them, died, and the population is still building back up.
Okay, so Jordan gave us a lot of information, and he's right on all accounts, that we know that in strict numbers, there were more Jews before World War II, before the Shoah, that almost 2/3 of Europe's Jews were wiped out during the Shoah. But we see that there definitely has been, thank God to Jews living all over the world, and even many survivors. Many of you spoke about your grandparents being survivors, going on to build families. The Jewish worldwide community has experienced significant growth since the end of World War II. Jerry, I think our time is up.
Okay.
And so, guys, we are going to end here. We are going to pick up next time next week, looking at what is the beginning, or how the Nazis kind of came to power, the rise of the Nazis, which takes us to the early 1930s and will lead us up to the start of World War II. So thank you, guys. Again, I apologize for the glitches we had today, but thank you for learning with me. And I will see you all next time. Shavua Tov. Bye.
So, say goodbye.
Bye.